through this program, he hopes to generate a revenue of £100 million by 2020 through various projects.
And in the next 25 years, he'd like to see the Tamil community in the UK contribute to 1% of UK's GDP.
So what we're going to do is we're going to have a Q&A session with them. So if anybody's interested in asking a question, there's a mic over there. We got Babu as one of our directors who's going to be facilitating that. Please limit your question to one, so no way I have a question and a follow-up and a follow-up, because there's a lot of other people that want to speak. So if you have any other further questions, we can save it for the networking portion.
So we would like to call up Elise and Yogananthan.
There are times people will like your idea and give you the money. There are times that they're going to say no. And you should be prepared to accept it. But don't give up. Never ever give up. Just keep on trying and trying until you are satisfied. There is a point that you will realize it's not working anymore and you will give up. That's also fine, but at least you tried. So I want, through entrepreneurial way, I'm moving away from it, through entrepreneurial way, I want to see more Tamil business people coming up in the future. And at least for my part, I'll be there to support it. Not only just financially, but also in terms of advice if I can, or if I can share my experience with you in building your business, I'm more than happy to do that.
I have one. My name is Jeevan. I actually work in telecom. The question I have is, being in telecom, I know how hard it is to get funding. It's a utility. You need a lot of money to start something up, right? And I also know, being a young Canadian of Tamil descent and spending a lot of my spare time lobbying the federal government here for people back home, I understand how hard it is to, make a difference back there. So my question to you is, Tamils of Sri Lankan descent are located in all the major economic centers of Western society. So Canada, US, Australia, UK, pretty much everywhere. So how do you think that we can utilize that presence to, for example, come together like the Jewish community? Because essentially our situation is like the Jewish community, except we're 40 years late. So my question to you is, because of your leadership and how successful you have been and your experience, how do you think we can collaborate between these countries to utilize our presence and our networks? Because a lot of our community are professionals and they're very well educated, but they're not entrepreneurs, because our culture seems to shy away from the entrepreneurial side. So how do you think we can break that barrier and to collaborate between countries and the economies to prosper?
Answer to your question, first of all, is here, right? How do you bring them together? This is a start. Jewish are probably 40 years ahead, okay? So we still got time. And this is the real answer is this evening. Why are you here? Why am I here? I don't have any business in Toronto. There's no need for me to be here. Nobody forced me to come here. I came here with my own will. I came here because I believe that there's a need for us to build our community back. Right? So if people come forward, not necessarily in business, there are many areas we do not support. I mean, education is what all our parents want us to do, which is great. I mean, most of our community is very well educated, which is great. How many communities that you can point the finger and say they are very well educated? We certainly are. But now, to your point that we need to move ahead in different areas, such as sports, probably in music. Like music, for example, you talk about business that our people don't support. Can you imagine a musician within our community and the support that they get from their parents? It's ridiculous. I mean, honestly, they could be like world-class singer or pianist or whatever, and the support that you get is next to nothing. At least in business, as soon as they see some money coming in, you can see the teeth. But in sports or in music, you don't. So, and music is a very, very tough industry. So that's another thing that I have started in UK. I have started picking up musicians and use my network to introduce them. So for example, last week, you guys probably heard about Charles Bosco. Have you? Some of you? So Charles, I put him to the CEO of Sony Music to get him a publishing deal. Okay? These are things that we need to start doing. That's exactly what Jewish community do. They are so networked. That's something that we should start doing. And I said, to your point, answering your question, like I said, this is the beginning. So give us another 10 years, we will overtake. By the way, guys, I don't want to bore you with all these philosophical stuff. Unless you really want to ask questions and you think it's interesting, I'm more than happy to stand here and answer you. But if you think it's boring, just tell me, we can go and have a drink.
Thank you, Ratheesan. My name is Naroja, and I'm with the Canadian Tamil Alumni Association. My question to you is, what we all know is that the road to success is, of course, it's a road that isn't straight. It's a bumpy road. It's hard. It's difficult, time-consuming at times. Can you speak to work-life balance and how you achieve it?
Yeah, well, that's not for us. We just talked about building our community in 10 years, and you talk about work-life balance. First of all, remember, nobody gives it to you on a plate. I hear so many people, I'm going to say this in Tamil. அந்த நேரத்துல அப்பா இதை வாங்கியிருந்தா இன்றைக்கு இந்த பில்டிங் எங்கடையா இருந்திருக்கும். Or things like, look at those Gujaratis and Sikhs, they're enjoying their mom and dad's money. Yeah. Our parents, what do they do? Isn't that true? Many of us, including me, I have said that. Okay? But the thing is, first of all, I don't want my kids to say that. So I work extremely hard to ensure that doesn't happen. But at the same token, they can enjoy what I have built, but there's no way they're going to get a penny from me. And I've ensured that, they can work. My job is to give them the education, the learning, the experiences, but it's up to them to make it in their life. And it's very, very important. I'm not going to save up so that my kids can have BMWs and Ferraris at the age of 18 or whatever. And anyway, coming back to your question, work-life balance is very important. At Lebara, for example, I said this earlier, I don't like anyone. Everybody knows this. I don't like anyone to stay beyond 7 o'clock. So 6 is when everybody finishes. Particularly the technical guys love staying late. I don't know what's up with you guys. They just love staying late, thinking that they're going to break the next code or something. But, pardon me?
That's when they start breaking.
Oh yeah. But we are talking about work-life balance here. So the reason for that is, you need to go home, you need to enjoy your time at home with your family and all the rest of it. But equally, just because you work 16 hours a day, it doesn't make you successful. It's about, you got to relax, you got to think. It's about the quality time that you put into thinking, not like physically working, right? And the smartest thing to do is that, like Jay said and Purnima said, employ the smartest people that you can find. They will work for you. They will do the work, and you can have the work-life balance, right? And that's a key thing. But then again, employing the right people is probably the hardest thing in building a business, because I don't quite often talk about luck, but getting the right person into your organization is part of it is luck. They could play the interview really, really well, and you end up hiring somebody, and then you end up firing them after 3 months, cost you millions of pounds or euros or dollars, whatever. And if you can employ right people and really smart people and pay them well, that's another thing that our community don't have. I mean, we want to negotiate. $10, no, I will give you $9.50. No. You want $10, I'll give you 11. But this is what I want. Be clear about what we want and ensure that individuals that we hire are capable of delivering. I'm not saying it for the sake of it. I want you to understand the scale of what we do. Last year, I paid without the bonus, just the salaries alone, 111 million euros. Okay, that's around probably $180 million or whatever. The reason is, what do they say? If you pay peanuts, you get monkeys or something, right? And you've got to make sure that you hire talents and you pay them, you retain them, you build loyalty, and you treat them well. And another important factor is treat people with respect. It's so important. I said that many times. Even at home, even if you hire people to work in your garden or whatever, treat them really well. Make sure that they sit on the same table as you, come inside the house and let them eat. And my parents, certainly, they have a different plate for all these people who come home, and we eat in a different plate, and all these kind of behavior. At least in our generation, we need to learn to change. We need to integrate. We need to treat people with a lot of respect and treat people as a family. It's very, very important for your success. Success doesn't, I said this earlier as well, success is what you define as success. What success looks like to you may be different to me. So it's important. That's the first question any of you got to answer before you even start the journey.
Hi, my name is Pratt from tamilculture.ca, and my question I want to ask is, do you feel that the younger or the second generation Canadians, or I don't know how it is in Europe or the United States, do you feel that they do not like to take risks? So like, for example, in my family, parents left India when they were 15, came here with nothing, and I guess it's the same for most people around here. They built a great foundation. Most of us have great educations, but do you feel that the second generation is complacent? And what do you think the second generation needs to do to really take that next step forward and, to your earlier point, build the community and make it stronger?
May I ask you something? So you were born here, right?
Yeah.
Who bought you the first car?
I did.
Very good. So that's the starting of second generation. Would they build by themselves or would they take risk? If you allow your parents or if you demand your parents to buy your first car, that's a bad sign. Okay? That's the question that you get, because you want to rely upon the thing is, whether our parents came in a difficult time and they struggled and all the rest of it, it's all true. And they have made sure that we understand that, right? All along. Do you know what we did and all the rest of the story? What can we do? Yes, you did. And so the thing is, they work very hard and they have ensured that they have given us the education. Now it's our turn to do our thing. And the thing is, many our parents are fearful, even though we are making a lot of jokes about our parents. They are fearful because they came from a background, they had nothing. Literally nothing. Honestly, me and my dad, I don't say this to talk about this often. My dad and myself in England, we stayed in a room, I can't even describe. Just probably in a small corner there, two people cannot walk at the same time in the room. We had a single bed, we had a sleeping bag. We didn't have a quilt, but we had a sleeping bag which we shared. Okay? And I can sit there and tell my kids this, for sure, right? But the thing is, it's not their fault that they got all the things that they have. But how do we, instead of telling them all the things that we went through, how do we use our experience but put that in a different way? Give them a different type of experience. You're not going to struggle for food in Toronto, that's for sure, right? At least you have the dole or whatever, the government give you unemployment benefit, that will keep you going. But the thing is, we have too much of pride to let that happen. I think we are not that sort of an individuals who wants to go and sit on a dole or the government funding and live for the rest of our lives. The people who wants to take that cushion, it's absolutely fine. They can go and work for a company. They will always be number two. If you want to be number one, forget relying on your parents or your families or anybody. Just take a risk by yourself. Whether you fail, whether you succeed, it's all upon you.
My name is Anaria Dasa, and the question I have for you is what qualities are you looking for in an entrepreneur for you to believe in and invest in them?
honesty, drive, conviction, passion. There's so many words that I can just keep on, The thing is, when you meet someone, you realize whether the value set that they have and your values, do they match? More than the ideas that people have. There's millions of people have billions of ideas floating around the world. And ideas that can change the world. People who succeed are the people who take the next step in executing them in the right way. There are people who take the shortcuts and succeed for a short term, but over a period of time, they never build a sustainable business. So it's important, the underlying value between two people or the group of people that you're going to work with are shared. I think it's very important, more than the money or more than the idea. The fact is, for me anyway, I'm so blessed. Why do I have to work with anybody anyway? I don't have to. It's up to me. Tomorrow, if I don't want to work with Leon or Karen, or they don't want to work with me, we have all the will in the world to walk away and do our own thing. Right? This is when I talk about the confidence. If you are confident in yourself, you will succeed regardless of which country that you go to, or what age group that you are in, or whatever the industry that you go into, you will succeed. Nobody will be able to stop your success other than yourself.
Thank you.
Are we done?